Yo, 2026 and the link is feeling cold. Last year is done, new story getting told. Jalen under fire, say his vision's getting tight. They say he's uncoachable, can't get right. AJ in New England, now that deal is done. Lemons got the green light, pick that number one. Benny in the coordinator, put your fears to rest. Patello playing checkers, why this dude is playing chess. AJ finally traded and the hype train's broke. Rabel's back to coaching and Rosini's catching smoke. 10 toes down with the Eagles on the scene. Ain't no time for fakers cause your boy is bleeding green. Sports is leaking stories but you know it's all cap. Coach Marcus on the mic and he's shooting all facts. Search trending topics, information moving slow. Pro fan talk, always keep you in the know. Hit the bell, that's law. Break it down from the film to the box score raw. With the real ones bar. From the birds to the league, we gon' cover it all. Hit the bell, that's law. Break it down from the film to the box score raw.
Good evening, good evening, good evening. Apologies for the lateness. Life be lifing. Something came up last minute. Well, we got plenty of time. What's going on with you? What is going on with you? Appreciate everybody. Art, first out the limo. Chris 3K, what it do? Carlos, my guy. Philly Fire 1783. What's up? Carlos, I just saw that. Just saw that pop up on my other screen. I thought that was hilarious. So you just never know, man. You just never know. But hey, it is what it is. P Wharf, what's up? What's up? What's up? Am I logged in with anybody? No. Gotta sign in. Let me see. Trying to there we go. Got me up on my iPad over here. Let me mute you out though. So yeah, what's going on, man? They both got a hell of an attitude. Yeah. I mean, it comes with the territory when you're a great player like that, man. I mean, would you rather have just a regular guy with a good attitude, or would you rather have a playmaker? That's the conundrum people find themselves in. Everybody wants the talent of the megastar, but they want humbleness. You know, they want the what was the two wide receivers in Arizona, Anquan Bolden and Larry Fitzgerald. They want those type of guys, and both of them Hall of Fame caliber guys, but neither one of them won a Super Bowl. So it comes with the territory, man. You win some, you lose some, you take some. You know, Calvin Johnson. Everybody wants a Calvin Johnson. Calvin Johnson really didn't talk a lot of trash. He was just Megatron was that good. But ultimately, man, you remember the people that got to the next level. So what are you gonna do? Can't please everybody. No matter what way you slice it, somebody gonna be upset, mad, not gonna agree with it. It is what it is, man. Yeah, 3 weeks away from training camp. My birthday is on Sunday. Whenever my birthday hits, that's when I know that that's when I know that it's real, because I know usually on my birthday weekend, MLB All-Star weekend, is either about to happen or just happened. And then we're less than 2 weeks away, and then you really start ramping up, and then you really start understanding. Like back when I was playing, like as far as fitness and being in the gym, this is where you were kind of cranking it up. Not cranking it up, you were kind of winding down because you had already cranked it up, and then you was trying to, maintain because you wanted to save yourself, trying to recoup a little bit, but still keep your peak because you had to perform when you went to camp. So you was trying to just maintain, but you wasn't blowing yourself out. You wasn't maxing or nothing like that. Everything eased back down because you knew you were about to go to camp. And once you go into camp, man, it's the real deal. It's the real deal. So, yep, there you go. There you go. And now next Tuesday. So when is the home run derby? On Monday? Yeah, so when's the next call-in show? I'll drop the link tonight. Ain't no problem with that. I'll definitely drop the link tonight, man. Their grandfathers are brothers, and they didn't even know. Isn't that crazy? Small world, man. Small world. We done traded cousins. Yeah, give me about 15, 20 minutes. I'll drop the link. No problem. No problem. It's been all kind of crazy, man. We all over the place, man. The World Cup team got embarrassed. All of that hoopla about Balogun and didn't even matter. Didn't even matter. Then you got the stuff with the WNBA, Congress getting involved. They are following the MLB playbook step by step. Y'all remember Die Hard? The movie Die Hard with Bruce Willis? When they was breaking into the safe and the Hans Gruber and his crew was in there and they cut the power. And my man was like, they're following the FBI hostage playbook step by step. And they knew that's exactly what the WNBA is doing. All these people in Congress is chiming in, and all these people ain't never watched a damn basketball game in their life. Now everybody got something to say. And you could have said this 2 years ago when it was getting crazy. You could have said it then, but nobody wanted to step in. Now all of a sudden, everybody want to have something to say, and all these politicians is grandstanding. Just like the MLB did. I had to go back and watch some of the MLB tapes on YouTube, and I was like, oh, that was just a bad look. That was just a bad look, man. Shout out to the NFL, because the NFL got their shit together. They know what it's like when they go through a strike. They know what it's like when they go through, the NFLPA, collective bargaining. Like, both sides know what it is. Both sides know how the sausage is made, and both sides will dig in and get something done, man. But oh my God! But I guess this is the growing pains of the W. When you throwing around this type of money all of a sudden, and it's only going up. So very interesting, man. And then, of course, we got our cousins. I still think that tickles me to death. Cousins. Chris, the U.S. team ain't a disgrace, man. It's just you had the worst possible game from our goalie that you could have. He was making mistakes that somebody at his level shouldn't make. So the question is, why is he making those mistakes? He was good all tournament, all World Cup tournament, and all of a sudden today, or the last game, he was just doing stuff that didn't make sense. And it's like, what are you doing? Why are you that far out of the goal? And then if you're gonna kick the ball to clear it, kick it. Take it to the other side of the field, of the pitch. And then you try to kick the ball and get stolen. And then they score a goal and you ain't even nowhere near the goal. And it was just bad, bro. It was just bad. I wouldn't say they're a disgrace. That last game was, but for the most part, they had a good showing. I can't get mad at them. They made it in the knockout round. And they won a match in the knockout round, which is a hell of a lot more than a lot of other teams and a lot of other countries in the World Cup. So no, it wasn't that bad. It is very funny. Listening to everybody talk about, and they talk about this every World Cup. all of the U.S. soccer players, they interview all these people and they say, what does U.S. soccer got to do to catch up with the world? And it's like, the answer is, ain't nothing you can do to catch up with the world. Nothing. There's nothing the U.S. soccer can do to catch up with the world, because the rest of the world doesn't have top-notch basketball programs and top-notch football and NFL and NCAA programs. They don't have as much distraction. You get in most of the other European countries, you got basketball, track and field, and soccer. That's it. The NFL is in its infancy overseas, and it will never overtake soccer. Never. So they will never have enough. The U.S. will never have enough youth programs or anything like that to be able to compete, to really be able to compete at that level. What they're going to have to do is do the same thing they did with Balogun. They're going to have to find these players that were born in the United States and moved somewhere when they were 2 and 3 years old, but still can figure out a way to have dual citizenship. That's what they did. That's what all the other countries do. Look at the whole situation with Mbappe right now, and the girl and the politician from, where's she from? It's not Argentina. Is she from Argentina? Paraguay? I don't know. Wherever she's from. She's a politician in the country. She's Hispanic. She's Latin. And Mbappe is from Algeria? He's not from France. He's just been living there. Kylian Mbappe, I don't know where he's from. The Paraguay senator. She's not from, I don't think she's from Paraguay. Is she? Yeah, Cameroon. His dad's from Cameroon. Yeah, Mbappe plays for France. He probably grew up in France, so they can claim that citizenship, man. They always get funky with black and brown, man. They want you to play for them, but they don't want you to play for them. So sometimes that get a little spicy, man. That get a little spicy. Yeah, 3 of them goals were awful. It was, it is what it is, man. Everybody get a turn, bro. You know how it is. But what I was saying was, the reason why the U.S. is never going to be able to get, we might get lucky one year and have a couple of players that play over in the Premier League, that play for, Arsenal or Sheffield Wednesday or one of them teams over in Europe. And you might get somebody with some good experience that, spent their first 10 years in America before they moved to Germany or wherever it was. We're going to have to get players like that, like Balogun, guys in his situation, that can represent both and choose to play for the States. Because, again, he made that choice 3 years ago. But the reason why we'll never catch up is, and I always say it, and I ask it in this question, are you hungry or do you want something to eat? There is a difference. When you want something to eat, that means you already got food in your cupboard. You can go and you can pick. You can open up the cupboard, and just like our little spoiled asses do, we go in the cupboard, or we open up the refrigerator, you leave the door open, and we just looking. Do I want some snacks? Do I want some chicken wings? Do I want to pull something out? Do I want to heat something up? Do I want to throw it in the air fryer? Do I want just a snack? Do I want the ice cream Snickers? As opposed to when you somebody that's hungry. Uar Bernard, that's somebody that's hungry. He got his whole family on his back. He told you, I'm doing this so I can make a better situation for my family. He's hungry. He's hungry. He don't just want something to eat. He's hungry. There is a huge difference. You've seen that now in basketball. Used to be, you had a lot of poor black kids from the city, from the hood. Basketball was their way out. They were hungry. There was a basketball court in every hood and every projects. Now Not so much. Now, even in the hood, you get parents spending, don't have that much money, but they'll spend $300 and $400 on a pair of Jordans, and so their kid can play in the AAU league, the travel team, and all of that type of stuff. It's a different era now. And you seeing what's happening with it, because you're getting all these European players that's hungry. And it's the same way. Every night, it's not that much like that for us in football, because we got football programs friggin' everywhere. Friggin' everywhere. Look at Venus and Serena Williams. They was hungry growing up in Compton. They was hungry, trying to get up out of that situation. They was hungry. And then now you got people, they just want something to eat. They already got food in the cupboard. They just trying to go. They ain't even hungry. They just want to get something to eat. They just used to eating. So there's a difference in it. And a lot of the, and when it comes to soccer, a lot of the American kids not hungry. Somebody made a point. I don't know who. I think that was Donovan talking on television. And he said a lot of the youth kids, you pay to be in a premier league, and then you got to go with the politics and all that shit. My parents paid the most money. My dad owns a business that sponsors the team, so I got to start. It's almost the same way with baseball. The politics and all that kind of stuff. And guess what? College is about to hit the same way, because now you got the NIL deals and all that kind of stuff, which makes it even worse. So who's hungry? Back when Joe Montana and Jerry Rice, and people still forget Jerry Rice is one of the best. Jerry Rice is the second best wide receiver in NFL history, depending on how you want to look at it. If you want to look at it for the rings and what he did on the field, some people will still keep him number one above Moss and above Megatron. But if you just looking, shot for shot talent, in my opinion, Megatron was the best specimen I've ever seen in my life. Randy Moss is a close second, and I would give Randy Moss a little bit of edge, because I think Randy Moss was just an overall better wide receiver. Megatron was just huge. You had never seen anybody that looked like him. But Randy Moss was smooth and fast and ran by people and would catch absolutely everything. But he still didn't make it to he didn't make it to that. He never got to the mountaintop. He got to it. He got to the summit, but he could never get on tight. He could never plant his flag. He could never plant his flag. And again, wrapping us all around and bringing it back for like Jalen Hurts and what the Eagles are doing. Like, a lot of people do not understand how supremely difficult it is to actually win a championship. Why did Randy Moss never win a championship? Why did Chris Carter never win a championship? Why did Dan Marino, who many people think is the best quarterback to ever come out of a college, how come he never won a championship? Went to the Super Bowl his rookie year. Never could win a championship. Could never get back to it. All these guys are so good, but it is so very difficult to get to that mountaintop and be able to plant your flag, man. A lot of people get to the summit, but not everybody can plant that flag, man. Joe Montana, Tom Brady, all them guys. Jalen Hurts done been there twice. He got a chance to plant his flag. Patrick Mahomes done planted his flag, 3 times? 2 times? So, people just forget that, man. People just forget that. And these guys over here playing soccer in Europe, it's hard to explain if you've never been there. I'm sorry, it's difficult to explain. Even my limited experience, when I got a chance to go to an actual match from a little local club team in Scotland, in Edinburgh. We went to see the Sunderland. I don't even know what was their team name? Sunderland. I remember I had a hat for the longest time. Sunderland. Let me see, Edinburgh. Sunderland, Edinburgh football. Premier Leagues. It's just called Sunderland. Yeah. So they're a Premier League team in Scotland. We went to one of their games, and it was, dude. I cannot explain how different it is. The experience, and it wasn't like we were in a big place. Just imagine a well-financed high school stadium. That's the size of it. It wasn't no ginormous. It wasn't as big as Murray Field where we played, and where they played rugby. This was the size of a big high school field, except the bleachers were a big U, and there were no seats. There were only risers. So the run was about 3-4 feet, and then you would get your step up about 12 to 15 inches. Then it would run 3 feet up. Those are risers. There's nowhere to sit. Everybody stands. And when that place gets rocking and them people get jumping around, and when you hear it on the broadcast and they sing the chants and all that kind of stuff, it is a physical feeling when you are in the midst of that. And again, I'm saying that this was not we were not in a big venue. We were the halftime show. We, just to promote the league, at halftime of the game, we went out there in our practice gear and ran some offensive and defensive plays just to introduce the people of Scotland to American football. And they didn't know what the hell they were watching. And the only time we got an applause was when we finally kicked the field goal, because then it looked like something they was used to with rugby. And then the applause was like sarcastic, like, oh, they're kicking that. Like, it was hilarious. But I tell you what, man, I'll never forget that. I will never forget that. That was an awesome experience, and it's different. It's different. I kick myself for not going to some of the games that was here in Philadelphia. But even, being around the people from Brazil and some of them other countries, when you in the midst, you get the feeling, but still it pales in comparison to what it's like over there. It's they got games that they don't let the women and children go to. They got some games where if the opponent wins, they will keep the home crowd in the stadium. They will not let them leave until the opponents have actually left the building. That way, won't nobody get hurt. They won't turn the buses over. It's next level over there. It's next level. So I say all that to say that the U.S. has a lot of work to do just to get up to speed. I'm not even talking about catching up to the pack. Now, maybe someday in the future, we'll get 2 or 3 good strikers from Europe that manage to play for the U.S. team, and we'll make a real crack and get to the 8 or even the Final 4. Maybe we'll peak one year in about 12 years. Maybe. But for the most part, man, you still got to deal with Belgium and France and England and Argentina and Brazil and Morocco. And you got to deal with all of these teams. Holland, that kid in Holland, Haslin, man, that dude looks like Drago's brother. Remember Drago from Rocky IV? That's what Haslin looked like. He looked like, if that dude was in the United States, he'd be a tight end at some school somewhere. That dude is ginormous. He's huge, and he's fast. He's ridiculously athletic. And if he was over here in the States, he probably wouldn't be playing soccer. He'd be either playing basketball or football. So, I agree. I agree. And I saw somebody put up the stuff that, the women won the World Cup 4 times. The only problem is ain't nobody really been paying attention to the women. As sad as that sounds, that was I remember when they won, and then everybody got so turned off of what's the girl's name? Rapinoe. They just, whatever hype that they had, it's like, I'm tired of listening to her. But I remember her. I remember Brianna Scurry. I remember Julie Ertz. What's the other was the other girl that played that was on the US soccer team? What was the real famous one? It wasn't Megan Rapinoe. It was, I know, Brianna Scurry, but Brianna Scurry was the black girl that was the goalie. But what's the girl? What's the real famous girl's name? What's the real famous girl's name? I can't. She was on everything in the United States, and I just can't remember her name. That I guess that should let you know. Mia Hamm. Thank you, schoolboy. Mia Hamm. Mia Hamm was everywhere. She was everywhere. Nope. We talk about Mia Hamm. Mia Hamm was who I was thinking about. She had it. She had the looks. She had the attitude. She had a good personality. She was good at what she did. And when they won the cup, she was the one. She was the one. So, but it just don't that was the moment, and then you get one or two people that last a little bit longer. I had to bring up her name. Who else? You got her. You got Megan Rapinoe. You got, like I said, Brianna Scurry. But Brianna Scurry didn't have the level of fame that Mia Hamm has. None of that. Hell, Ilona Mayer got more pub than they do now, and she was doing rugby. So, Chris, you shouldn't lose on home soil like that. You shouldn't, because you can lose. You can get your ass whooped. I don't care what sport you play. Anybody can get got. Now they're not supposed to, but yeah, Mia Hamm was it. But again, man, you got good looking girl, everything that goes with that. So she was right place, right time. Right place, right time. And then yeah, Robin's daughter plays, but guess what? If she wasn't Robin's daughter, would we be paying attention to her right now? Because that's what I'm saying. Everything got Hope Solo was another one. I remember her, but she didn't that year they didn't have a good year, if I remember correctly. And plus, she ended up getting in trouble too. Didn't she end up getting in like domestic stuff? So it was, it's been ups and downs. It's been ups and downs, but you know, it is what it is. That's who me. I use my example. I use my WNBA example. Mia Hamm broke the threshold. Mia Hamm broke the threshold. If you even though I couldn't remember her name, but that's me with the CTE. But if you mention Mia Hamm, most people would figure out that you're talking about soccer. So yeah, Hope Solo, she got in. Yeah, she was involved in some other stuff, and then Megan Rapinoe, people just got sick of listening to her. So, and then like Mia Hamm, when the last time you seen Mia Hamm on TV? I couldn't tell you. So, but it's all good, man. This is the way. This is the sports cycle now in the United States. The problem is we got too many damn distractions. And people only want to get good at something they can make money off of. And let me be honest with you. I don't know how much MLS pays. I don't know. There's a lot of people that didn't have a clue who Messi was until he played for the Union. And people really don't understand how big that was. The average person didn't realize how big Messi was when he signed with the Union. Now you look at what Messi's doing in the World Cup tournament, and everybody's like, oh, that guy. Yeah, that guy. That was huge. And it just didn't resonate for whatever reason. Messi signing with the Philadelphia Union should have been the biggest sports story in the country, but it failed in comparison to something like Mike Vrabel and Diana Rossini, or AJ Brown getting traded, or whoever was in the Super Bowl. That, like, it just, we different over here. We different. So It's yeah, worldwide, man. And this is the thing that people, if you've never had the opportunity to travel overseas, you don't really understand it because you've never seen it. The same way, here's a great example. It's the same way that you look on Instagram and Facebook and TikTok and all of that, and what are you seeing right now? You seeing all of these people from all of these other countries that finally came to the United States to watch the World Cup, and everybody's like, "Oh, we heard such bad things about the United States." It's not like that at all. It's the same way on these other countries. It's not what you. It's different than what you think, but you can only see it for yourself if you go over there. I've said this before, and I've told this story before. One of the best educations I had in my lifetime was playing overseas in Europe, playing for Scotland in the World League. That was the best experience / education in my life. The best experience because I'm overseas, I'm in another country, and whether you want to look at it like this or not, you represent the United States. And number two, the education was learning why everybody has the attitude about America. Why did it coming over here? Why did everybody have such a bad disposition about America? Because that is what is portrayed in their media. Just like when we watch stuff about what's going on in Germany, what's going on in Iran and Iraq and all of that kind of stuff. People don't realize, like, some of them places in Iran and Tehran and places like that, like, not too long ago, they had a real nice club scene going on. That was the place to go. That was a place to vacation. That was a live place to go before a certain regime came in and just changed everything up. Like, they had a club scene very similar to what was going on in New York. Check out the history before they erase it. So yeah, man. What's up, Green Wing Man? Culture-wise, for boys, the other sports are more attractive and lucrative to pursue. Agreed. On top of that, MLS hasn't produced an American-born player that's a household name. Feels like a catch-22. I agree with you 100%. 100%. There's nobody that there's nobody. I'm trying to think of somebody. I think we did have a couple of players that played in the Premier League, American players, but they're playing in the Premier League. They get more hype over in Europe than they do back here in the States. I got a nephew that played ball overseas. He played in Mongolia. They won the championship. He played in Indonesia. He was in Indonesia, and they treated him like friggin' royalty. Walking down the street, signing autographs, all of that type of stuff. But you come back home, you don't get the same treatment. America is too big, and there are too many other distractions. Especially when you consider, hell, it's Mr. Beast and Speed and all them YouTube influencers. They got more pull overseas than a lot of these athletes do. So if you, like, trying to think, what's a good example? And again, you have some athletes that break the threshold overseas. Like, for instance, when we were in '93, when we played the Saints in the Tokyo Bowl. In the it was called the American Bowl, and we played in Tokyo, Japan. Right? Now, when we went to Tokyo, Herschel Walker was still a big name in Tokyo. They knew him because they knew he did martial arts, and so Herschel was a big deal in Tokyo. Randall was a little bit of a big deal, but Randall was they knew that Randall was one of the main guys in the American NFL, so they pubbed it like that. Herschel was huge. So it depends on where you go, but I've had a lot of people. I've had a couple of guys on my WNBA channel on Pro Fan Hoops. I had a couple people from China, one guy from Indonesia and one guy from the Philippines, and they were trying to explain to me how they were like, Caitlin Clark is everything over there. Like, she's the, she could probably go over and play in Europe and be a ridiculous and make a ton of money over there. Probably more than she making with promotions and all the stuff that they would take care of her over there. But people will look at it different. Why do you think all the women would go overseas to play basketball? Because they was paying them good money over there. They couldn't get that type of cash over here only until this year with their new CBA deal. So, at the end of the day, it's just different over there, man. It's just different. So, okay, refugee from Iran. That's what's up, man. You know what I'm talking about. You know the history. Like, it wasn't always like that. It wasn't always how we perceive it until certain idiots got into power, and then shit changed. So, but yeah, man, it is what it is, man. It's just, I wish people could have an opportunity to travel overseas. I wish everybody would do it. I wish everybody had an opportunity to go to Germany and drive on the Autobahn. And let me be honest with you, I wasn't on the Autobahn. I was on a regular old highway, but I'm in a double-decker bus going 90 miles an hour, and I'm about to lose my mind. But I wish people could experience that. Every cab in Germany is a freaking BMW, like stuff like that. like going to the Netherlands, and you see it in movies and stuff when they talk about the red light district. Like, okay, that's a real place. And they treat they prostitutes and stuff like that. They're women of the night. They treat them well. They get health insurance and the whole thing. And don't go over there acting a fool, because they will throw your ass in jail with a heartbeat. Like, you ain't coming over here with that. It doesn't matter who you doing it to. They don't play. They don't play. When we went to, again, when we was in Japan, when I was with the Eagles, when we was in Japan, both teams had a meeting with the police, the chief of police in Tokyo, Japan. And he told us, we know who you are. We know why you're here. Do not get arrested, because if you get arrested, we have a 98% conviction rate. You will miss your flight home. Now, over there, they was FAFO before anybody else even knew what that was. They didn't play. They didn't even play, man. So it's, different world, man. Different world. So, come on, man. Leave the Browns alone, man. Leave the Browns alone. Ain't that a Tyler Perry show or something, the Browns? That's crazy, man. That's crazy. But I know I said it. I promised it. Let me drop the mic real quick. So haven't had it dead. I've been working on the graphics. I got some more stuff coming. So been working on that. Redoing my intro. Not redoing the music, but I'm redoing some of the editing and the graphics and stuff like that. So all right, I just dropped the link. So but yeah, man, it's a lot of stuff that like we just don't get. And it's like you don't know what you don't know. So damn, you said Satan Brown. Lord have mercy. That's a shame, dog. You said Satan Brown. Come on, Tiff. Come on, don't do that. Don't do that. Oh my God. So yeah, man. Look, like it's just like it's different, man. Like, and it's a shame because you wish things could be different over here. Like a good example is if you go to Japan and I don't know, you walk out of the restaurant and it's 45 minutes before you realize you left your wallet in the restaurant. Your shit will be exactly where it was when you left it. If you leave your wallet, if you leave your purse on the ground, if you waiting for the bus and leave your purse on the sidewalk, get to the other bus stop and go back and go the other way. Your shit will be there where you left it. They don't steal and do stuff like that, man. They don't. It's different over there. Like I saw a documentary one time about, and this is just how ingrained they are, like with nature and with their culture and their honor and all that kind of stuff. Look at how in Japan, look at how they developed their subway system, their train system. How they did that was they had bacteria and they put a food source in the middle of like a petri dish or something, and they watched how bacteria and live organisms would make their way to the food source, to the resource. Then they did it again and they mapped how the bacteria or how the worms or whatever they were feeding, they had them out here, put the food in the middle, and they mapped how they got to the food source, because live organisms will get there the quickest way possible. And what they did was they mapped out that path and then overlaid it on the map, and that's how they built their subway system. Perfect sense when you explain it like that. And we can never do that. They got a stretch of sidewalk where they put artificial like plates on the sidewalks, and each plate has a spring-loaded mechanism that every time you walk on it, the spring hits and it generates a very minuscule amount of electricity. But when you have thousands of them, they power the stoplights and all that kind of stuff. They just think in next level. We can't do that, because if you want to build it, that means you got to go through the unions. You got to have this company do it. This company's want to sue you because they should get the contract to build the plates. And then somebody else wants to build the springs. And it all begins to turn into a red tape mess. They don't do that over there. That's why they can walk in to a restaurant or a grocery store with a basket, never swipe a card, never look at anything. They walk in, take their stuff, and walk out, and the system automatically bills them, and everything is good. We can't do that over here because everybody would try to steal from you. So, Chris, what's going on, my guy?
What it do, Coach? You got me?
I got you, man. What's good with you?
Man, nothing much. Always appreciate you letting me on for a couple minutes, chop it up with you. I was going to touch on, because I know we talk about the birds a lot, but just kind of piggybacking on the more recent thing with the U.S. national team. I think everything you said was spot on. It's disappointing to see, because it's hard to get a World Cup in your country. Those things rarely happen if you get one, because I think the last one we had here was like 90s, 94, something like that. And to see that kind of performance, I thought it was brutal. Especially a lot of it wasn't so much. Obviously, the other, Belgium was better, but some of the mistakes were just like elementary school type. Like, I mean, you don't got to be a genius to know, like, if you're a goalie, you got to clear that ball out the box. But bigger point is, I think the concerning part is, like, everything that we saying now in 2026, they've been saying, if they were saying in 2006. Like, it's been 20 years and it ain't got no better. And I just think what you said about overall, like, the reality is, it's just not. It's not a priority in this country, and I don't think it ever will be, because at
Nah,
the end of the day, this having the tournament here is great, obviously, for the revenue and the entertainment aspect, and it's great to see these teams come to these stadiums. But I give it about a week after the tournament is over. Don't nobody care no more, because NFL training camp is around the corner. NBA
absolutely.
free agency, LeBron, as maybe he might end up in Philly. So at the end of the day, and obviously this tournament only comes once every 4 years. Like, give it about a week or two, and everybody's going to be back to what we typically do in the States. So I
Yep.
just don't think it's ever going to be urgent enough. Like you said, do you want to eat, or are you hungry? It's a whole different thing.
It'll be interesting to see how long Balogun stays on top of the media circus.
Not
Because
long.
he
He
deserves it.
should. He
He was one of the
deserves.
best strikers in the tournament, but don't
He
nobody
is.
care about that.
Nobody do. He was our best player, if you ask me, by a long shot.
Absolutely.
he was our best player. Like you said, it's just unfortunate that give it about a week or two after the cup is over with, and he goes back to his team in France.
He'll be
I
lost
wonder
in the
how many
shuffle, man. If
lost
that
in the
dude walked
shovel.
down the street right now, wouldn't nobody bother him.
Wouldn't nobody bother him one bit. Like you said, Diana Rossini's getting more traffic out here for being a
Yep.
reporter than what this guy was actually doing for the country. You know what I'm saying? And the thing about him that you said that is a huge point is that he was actually technically supposed to be born, I think, or he was supposed to be in London, but I think what ended up happening with him was that his mom was pregnant and couldn't get on the flight to London, so he had to be born in New York. That's how he ended up
He was born
being.
in Brooklyn.
Yeah, but that was by coincidence. That wasn't the plan. Had he gotten on that flight, he might have been representing another nation right now.
Could be. You're
So,
absolutely right.
and I think it's just extremely disappointing to see what, people talk about these overrated players all the time with the NFL and whatnot, but to see Pulisic out there and, all the hype he's gotten, and for him to perform that subpar and then get hurt again and come off, I thought it was just pretty disappointing. But overall,
Listen,
I just
man,
think
it don't matter how high you are on the totem pole, man. Everybody get a turn.
everybody get a turn for sure.
Everybody
Everybody
get
get
a
a turn.
turn. And
Everybody
when
get a turn.
it doesn't matter what level you at. Anybody can get blinded by them bright lights.
Oh man, that is so true. That is
Anybody can
so
get
true.
blinded. Wasn't we just saying this with AJ Brown in that
Yeah,
last playoff game? You had the worst game of arguably your career in the most important point in the season. And
unfortunately.
it happens
Yep,
to everybody, man.
it
Soccer is
sure
not
do.
exempt.
It ain't. It sure ain't.
All right, bro. I appreciate you, man.
Yep.
Uh-oh.
What up, coach?
What's going on, Joe? Holla at me, man. What's good with you?
I'm good, man. I check you out all the time. And so speaking of what you said, you're right. The bright lights do hit some, but they don't hit one in particular person that we know very well, and that's Jalen Hurts. Them bright lights don't affect that young man at all. We
we are
got evidence
lucky
of that.
in that regard. Like, what are the odds that we would have this turnover of offensive coaches and we have the one quarterback that has actually been through this since he was in college? Like, what are the odds of that happening?
1 in a million. But it's
Philadelphia
amazing.
is blessed in that regard.
100%. And then I was talking on another show earlier, and they were talking about Makai Lemon. I
Yes.
saw the little clip with Amon-Ra St. Brown. They are the same size.
Yeah.
Literally. Both 5'10, both 190, close to 200. And I said this earlier. There's one team that has 2 Fred Biletnikoff winners. You know which team that is?
Us.
Yeah. It's like 14 in the last, since 2000, have been 14. We have 2 of them.
Well,
And that's not an easy award to just kind of poo-poo because Jamar Chase won it.
no, absolutely not.
So when
They
people
only
say, "Oh,
poo-poo
Makai
because it's
Lemon, he's
us.
not this," right? This young man, come on now, the tape don't lie. If I
Yo,
told people watch that
the
whistle
dude
he
had
did,
4
it's crazy.
drops in his career. 4.
Yeah, it's like yeah. I saw Steve Smith thing. Yeah, it was crazy. And yeah, 3 years, something like that, 3 or 4 in 3 years. Like who does that? Who does that? And you think this kid's gonna be a bust in the first round? That doesn't make sense to me. I'm an Eagles fan for a long time since I was 10 years old. Randall, Seth, all those guys, I watched them all. And this team by far, man, it's a blessing to see this right now at this time.
Yeah,
And that
listen,
ball,
we are in good shape. We
the
got
hate is serious though. It's crazy.
yeah,
It's
but
crazy.
at this point, we used to it. We used
Yeah,
to it. They're gonna do all of the nonsense, and you're gonna have the naysayers, and they're gonna put us. Somebody gonna come out with a story the next couple days where we at the
no.
bottom of somebody's list, and everybody in
Oh,
Philadelphia gonna crash out, and whoever this person is gonna get 30 million views, and it's all rinse and repeat. It's
yeah,
all
I
rinse
haven't
and
seen
repeat.
it. But somebody got Jalen Hurts rated like the 18th quarterback or something like that. I was like, man, but that's crazy.
Who cares?
It don't make no sense. But
Who cares, man? I don't
I just look at the team.
I don't care
I
about
think
rankings this far. The
no.
rankings are irrelevant, and now we all
Of course.
know it doesn't matter. But we all know that the ranking stuff is all clickbait right now. It's all clickbait. They just want to get somebody pissed off
100%.
at you.
Yeah, I don't even pay no attention to that stuff anymore. I look at the tape, I look at the film, I watch the games. Listen, I've been promoting this. Watch Jalen Hurts 100 passing touchdowns and listen to him talk, and then you'll if you hear what he said to AJ Brown after he caught that touchdown pass, and AJ Brown was like, "Yo, man, whatever you think." That's why I made the call. That's why I
Yeah.
made the call. That's how you got it. So what more does anybody ever want out of their quarterback other than to say some stuff like that? You can't want no more than that.
Everybody wants something to say so they can say they had something to say. That's what it all comes down to.
Yeah.
Everybody talking but not saying nothing. And at the end of the
No.
day, you know, if you're not in Philadelphia, you wish you had the quarterback that we had.
Please.
Because there was a whole lot of passing yards in Cancun in the playoffs.
Cancun on the flight in the airport, just a whole lot of stuff.
I don't worry about that, man. It only matters.
No, not at all.
And I already know, I'm already prepared that our offense is going to might be on the struggle bus in camp because the defense is going to have the advantage.
Oh, but that's been the last if you've been watching the Eagles the last 5 years, it's been that way for the last 5 years.
It's
defense
like
has
that for
always
most
been ahead of
teams.
Right,
It's
because
always
the
like
offense
that
is
for
different.
most teams, let alone somebody with a new coach, with a new offensive
Right.
coordinator. So,
But the offense is always going to be different because it's always evolving. You always have new players. The defense is a little more stable. You know, there's a lot of players that don't turn over.
yep.
And that's the one thing that we got to be blessed with too, that we don't have a lot of turnover on our defense. Yeah, I know some players are gone, but the core of that defense is still there.
We'll be fine, man. It's
I'm
the
not
same
worried.
as it ever was. As long as Lane Johnson and the boys are healthy, we good. We'll be. In
They
good
look
shape.
good so far. They look good.
Yeah,
They look good so far.
But
We'll see.
even saying that, I'm like, they look good in shoulder pads and shorts. So, okay, great.
What-
Holler at me
what
when
is it,
we
a couple
go through
weeks?
team drills and when we go through joint practices. Then you can see something. And then you
Yeah.
can only take that with a grain of salt. You got to wait till we get into a real preseason game and holler at me going into week 5.
Yeah, that's it. I said this probably about week 5 or 6. We'll see exactly what we really like. But
When you
also,
go-
I have one thought, and it's
Sure.
everybody's talking about Reek Woolen and
Yes.
how he's not going to sign him. I am always going to be an optimistic Eagles fan. I'm a fanatic. That's why I'm called a fan. I think by week 6, how we may offer this man something.
As long as Reek Woolen does not prove the rumors true about him being a hothead.
Yeah, that's how I look at it.
Yeah.
If by week 6 he's played well, got a couple picks, he's locking down that second best wide receiver, I think it's going to be a wrap.
Yeah, as long as he doesn't cost us in penalties, doing something stupid, he'll get his payday because I think he's worth it. His size and speed is unequaled. I don't know if there's another defense. I know that there might be a safety, but I don't think there's another DB cornerback at 6'4" that runs a low 4.3 with his wingspan.
No, not even Christian Gonzalez. Christian Gonzalez is a big corner, but I don't think he's that.
Dude, his
That
specs
athlete.
are off the charts. So
It's insane.
but we'll see. I still gotta wait to see what he does on the field.
Yeah.
That joint practice in New England, that's gonna be the biggest thing of the summer.
Him against AJ. Woo.
Yep. You already know.
That's gonna be fire. Because Quinyon already been there, so it ain't nothing to watch Quinyon. You gotta watch that young man, Woolen. That's like you said. That's something you don't see. That's a wide receiver body.
Absolutely.
At a corner. So that's it, man. But I definitely appreciate you, Tone. I listen to you guys all the time. I definitely appreciate you guys.
Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah. All right, Coach. Good
All
to
right,
hear you, man.
Be good. Green Wingman, what's good with you?
You too.
Hey, man. Thank you for opening up this forum to the people, Coach, man. Much appreciated, man.
For sure. Appreciate you, man. Appreciate everybody on my team, man. What's good?
Yeah.
What you got
Yeah.
going?
So just a couple of points, just to kind of issue on my chat was, it was the United States soccer team and, just a bit of a disappointing exit in the way that they did.
It was. It was.
It was, but it was exciting though. I think a lot of the things I was just thinking about how just the United States has just kind of struggled to kind of create that all star, and just to kind of elaborate on the super chat. I think it just comes down to like you said, the culture right now in our country, and like you said, we just have so much choice in terms of our sports and our sports economy, to the point, like it says, it's a lot more lucrative to kind of pursue. Like when a
Absolutely.
kid, even though like America, we have like the number one youth sport right now in the country is soccer with 100 kids. Uh, After after a certain age, I think like the soccer youth is starting to get a little expensive. It's starting to lean more towards the rich areas in terms of getting
Dude,
kids.
it's turning into hockey.
Yeah, yeah. It's you would think a sport that's pretty much the most accessible, like barrier to access for kids. It's
Yeah,
starting to
soccer
become-
and basketball.
it's starting to get to become the most expensive, which shouldn't make any sense. So now you're limiting a pool of kids that should be able to participate in the sport. And on that end, like you said, as much as MLS is starting to grow in terms of clubs, like now they're up to 30 clubs since 1996.
Yeah.
You just again, they haven't created that American born player like in the same realm of like a Michael Jordan, how kids aspire to be that player. So when you don't have that youth aspect, that unfortunately gets caught up when they say maybe the kid gets to middle school or high school, which the sports is a lot more better and a lot more lucrative, and not have that, you're not building that kid like in the same way in Europe, and how they're building those kids up, and how they have those youth camps right now. Even like the major like Premier Leagues have those youth camps where if they find talent, they're going to bring them in onto their Premier League on the youth level and build them up. If they're good enough in their farm system, they'll bring them up to the Premier League or the La Ligas and stuff like that. So we just don't have anything like that in the United States.
Nah, and let me be honest with you, I don't think we ever will, because as long as you
I
got
agree.
as long as there's money involved,
Mhm.
you're gonna have rich families that's gonna give to a program, and then they get mad because little Tommy or little Jimmy ain't playing, even though they not the best player. That you got to deal with the isms and the
That's the problem.
favoritisms and stuff like that.
Yep.
That'll never go away.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you 100%. And again, that just takes away the opportunity to find that real edge talent that could actually grow from the rest. Like you said, rich
yeah,
families unfortunately just get in the way of situations like that.
you know what? They need somebody to come through, very similar to what happened 4 years ago with Caitlin Clark.
Yeah.
Coming
think
from
so.
Iowa. Like I try to ask this question all the time, like, because Caitlin Clark was far from the best white girl I ever saw play basketball.
Mhm.
But what was it about her? What was the recipe? And that's the thing that people can't quantify.
Yeah.
Why was it her? Why did she kick the door in? Diana Taurasi was better than her. Candace Parker was better than her. But if you just look at, because I know people use that, well, she was the white girl, and I'm like, no, there was a lot of other white girls that were a hell of a lot better. Hell, Paige Beckers was better than her the next year, and Paige didn't get that type of hype. So, like, what was the recipe that sparked everybody? They need something like that in soccer, and it's got to be a little bit of, yes, they are that good, and they prove it over and over again, and they have to have, at least on some small level, a measure of celebrity about them.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like you said, they have to have that household name brand, like a Jordan, that even your grandmother knows who that person is, even if they don't sit down and watch the sport.
Right.
I agree with you 100%. That's why I felt like maybe if the United States men's soccer team, let me just say, maybe have probably made it to maybe a semifinal, maybe that would have brought maybe a little bit more interest. I'm not saying that it would, but maybe if it just showed a little bit of improvement and not getting knocked out by the same same country in Belgium 12 years ago by the same
Yeah.
guy, by Lukaku, man. Like the last 12 years, that guy had hair. Now you got scoring on a dude when he's bald. No offense to my bald brothers out there, but
Let me be honest with you. I don't think it would have mattered.
I agree. No,
I don't.
totally
If
agree.
looking at it as a pipe dream,
Mhm.
if the U.S. men would have won it, would have won the World Cup, it would have lasted 2 weeks until football season started.
Yeah, you're probably right. Again, like I said, our country just has so many choices in other sports at the
Yeah.
moment too, which again, like I said, going back to my first point though. But yeah, just to get in my quick Eagles
Sure.
before we close up. Yeah, I'm gonna stay optimistic. I tend to be a little bit pessimistic. I tend to go the pessimistic side when it comes to the Philadelphia Eagles, though. I think in terms of how the offense is going to be run, I think really just goes on to how Mannion runs the offense at the end of the day. I think it really depends on how things work out because to me, you do worry about a lot more older players that have been more established, especially players that have won the way that we've won at a certain level and point. But like I said, if these players are bought into the Mannion system, and I think we all both agree what really is going to move the whole if this offense really does move is the offensive line. If the offensive line isn't back to being what it was 100%, none of it's going to matter at the end of the day. So, yeah, I'm going to be I'm a little optimistic on the offense. To me, I'm going to be a little bit more patient. I think it's going to take till week 6 or to week 7 till the offense really gets in the groove.
Yeah.
I think the defense will get on its feet now that you have a lot more young veterans on this team. That's going to be a lot more established. I think the defense will sit down to carry, and let's just hope that we have a decent, good year. Before I close out, what do you think would be a successful season for this Eagles team? Do you think they have to win a Super Bowl to consider it successful? What's your take on that? And
In my opinion, you don't have to win the Super Bowl to be successful because at the end, when you get into the playoffs, it's not if you lose, it's how you lose. Like I wouldn't count last year as a success because of how they lost to San Francisco. That was horrible. And the way it went down and continuously to show us that Kevin Patullo was getting out coached, things like that. So no, that wasn't a success. Would you call 22 a success, even though they lost the Super Bowl? Yeah, because we did some things that nobody expected us to do. So I look at it as far as number one, like for me, it's layered. Number one, you got to get to the playoffs. Number two, you got to play well when you get there because it's all about gelling at the right times. And last year, we should have repeated as Super Bowl champions. We had a prime opportunity to do that, and we couldn't seal the deal because we didn't have a good offensive coordinator, and it bit us in the ass at the worst possible time. So hopefully we've fixed that problem, but that remains to be seen. So I'm optimistic about it. But like I said, to answer the question, for me, it's not when you lose, it's how you lose. That was a disappointing way to lose last season. So because I can lose if you beat me. I can live with that. If you were the better team, if you were the better man, and you get the best out of me, and I know I gave my best effort, I can live with that. But if I put out some bullshit on the field and you squeak by, which means I played my absolutely dog worst, and you still only win by a point or two because we missed a field goal or something like that, I feel like crap for the rest of the offseason. Because we had an opportunity to win, and we had a legitimate opportunity last season to go back to the Super Bowl and beat freaking Drake May. And we blew it. And you don't get them type of opportunities often. Our window is still open. But we were in a situation where we still had multiple weapons on offense. Then we couldn't block. Then I look at 2023 where we had really good offense, and we couldn't tackle on defense. So it was always something. And then 2024 happens, and everything gets in sync. But people forget that the offensive line had to go into the office and talk to coach like, yo, run the ball. Stop throwing the ball so damn much. Run the ball. Remember when that happened? So I asked those questions because what would have happened if they didn't do that? Would Kellen Moore still try to throw it all around the field and all that kind of stuff? So, I mean, woulda, coulda, shoulda, don't do nothing but rhyme. We got to plant our flag on the summit and became Super Bowl champions. So we figured it out. But after looking at that boring ass Super Bowl last year and the way the Seahawks won it, when's the last time you heard from the Seahawks, the reigning Super Bowl champion?
Yeah, it's kind of crazy how the team that won a Super Bowl has gotten no media coverage. So
None. You don't hear shit from them.
We've gotten more media coverage than the Super Bowl reigning champions.
We got more coverage when we signed Reek Woolen.
Yeah, I know. When we took away one of their better corner, well, I guess their perceived better corners away for the Eagles too. Yeah, it just kind of goes to show you where everybody still believes where the best teams are at the moment.
Absolutely.
Situation. Yeah.
They still want to put out them narratives that Jalen Hurts is uncoachable. So, like, I don't know. That is what infuriates me the most about the Eagles, was that we blew a very good opportunity to repeat.
I agree.
All the stars aligned, and you know, all we had to do was do what we needed to do, and we couldn't. You know, people still give me pushback on that, and I'm like, you know, you look at the situation with Jeff Stoutland, you look at the situation with Kevin Patullo, because they didn't do what they were supposed to do. We blew an opportunity, man.
Yeah.
Jeff Stoutland should have pulled Cam Jurgens and let Brett Toth start or do something, because Cam Jurgens was hurt and he was terrible, and then Kevin Patullo just couldn't. We was losing the chess match, man.
Yeah, I agree. Like, we are right now, we are in a very pivotal moment of Eagles football right now. And I agree with you. I believe right now, I think the Eagles should have been sitting with 3 championships by now.
Yeah.
I 100% agree with you. So, you know, you can sit down and get all the best players, but if you keep on fumbling with the coaching position, that's going to set all that behind. So hopefully I pray to the Lord that hopefully that we kind of get this thing settled in, because we can't keep on doing this caravan of switching coordinators and stuff. But I'm going to end it, man. Thank you for your time, brother, man. And thank you for opening this forum, man. You're the best.
You
brother.
got it, bro. Appreciate you.
Be good, man.
Yeah, man, we blew that opportunity, man. Oh my God. I think about that a lot. And that's the one thing as a former player, like, them opportunities, man, you got to take advantage of those opportunities, even in the micro level. When you go from micro to macro, as a player, every opportunity you get, you got to take advantage of. So if you are running back, and you get the ball in your hands, and that offensive tackle or that offensive guard gets his block, you got to make the right cut. And you got to turn that, you know, no gain into 4 or 5 yards and possibly, you know, make it a splash play. You got to do that, because you don't know what's going to happen with the defense. You don't know if your guy is going to make that block again and open it up like that again. If you are a wide receiver, when the ball comes your way, you got to catch it. You got to catch it, period. And we failed in that many times at the end of the year last year. So just taking advantage of the opportunities when you get them. The good teams do it. The bad teams don't. It's that simple. So being a champion is not complicated. You know what to do, especially for us. Don't make it complicated. It's quite simple. Win in the trenches, run the ball, and throw the ball to the open man. Obviously, it's a little bit more layered than that. There's a little bit more to it than that. But those are the basics. Those are the basics. You got to have a game plan that's going to outsmart the defense at least sometimes. Sometimes. Defense get paid too. So every now and then they're going to come up with a great play, because that's what good defenses do. And that's what you're going up against every week in the NFL. And we wasn't getting that last year. And we was getting, we'd have a great first half and then go to shit in the second. And we were bipolar on offense. And it was frustrating. Because you're not going to get too many years where the defense is that good. And we blew it. We blew it. We blew it. We couldn't get a backup in for our freaking center. And I blame that on Jeff Stoutland, in my opinion. As much as, and I say this all the time when I say this, people do not get it twisted. I was feeling some kind of way when Jeff Stoutland walked away. I was not happy. Jeff Stoutland is platinum in my book. Platinum. If they can put him in the Hall of Fame, find a way to put him in the Hall of Fame. Like, I was feeling some kind of way when he walked away. However, that is on him that Cam Jurgens kept playing and he had a slip disc and sciatic pain while he was playing. He looked useless in a couple games. And then when you put Brett Toth in, you have, I believe we had the best offensive output. And Saquon Barkley had that may have been his best game against the Giants. And then we go right back to what we was doing, and we start getting our head beat in. So it is what it is, but we get another opportunity. We get to rinse and reset. Everybody's healthy. I don't want Landon Dickerson even looking like he bringing beer or anything else on that field. Last time you did that, your knee got jacked up and you couldn't do a damn thing. Don't touch no beer. Don't bring no coolers. None of that. So we got a good opportunity. Sean Mannion, I think, is going to pay dividends. I think Sean Mannion is going to be as advertised. I think Mekhi Lemon is going to be as advertised. I think Hollywood Brown is going to be better than people giving him credit for. And Dontavian Wicks has got a chip on the shoulder because Green Bay didn't want him. So we are in a great position. We got playmakers across the board. We still have a three-headed monster on offense. We still got Jalen Hurts, Saquon Barkley, and Devontae Smith. If you want to put a fourth head on there with Eli Stowers and or Dallas Goedert, go right ahead. I think it's going to be better than most. And I think our offense is going to be predicated on beating the matchup. The chess match, if they in a different coverage, we got something for that. If they blitzing, we got something for that. So we got to win that chess match, man. And I think we can do it. So we'll see what's going on, man. We'll see what's going on. But I'm about to land this plane, man. Appreciate everybody on the mic. I definitely want to have more call-ins, so don't be shy. You don't have to turn your camera on. You saw how we did it. And just talk ball, man. It's all good. But I'm going to get up out of here. And y'all make sure y'all have yourselves a good night. And we'll see what the news cycle looks like tomorrow. So holla at y'all later. Be good or be good at it. Peace. Go Birds.
Yeah. Yo, 2026 and the link is feeling cold. Last year is done, new story getting told. Jalen under fire, say his vision's getting tight. They say he's uncoachable, can't get right. AJ in New England, now that deal is done. Lemon's got the green light, pick that number one. Benny in the coordinator, put your fears to rest. Patello playing checkers, why this dude is playing chess. AJ finally traded and the hype train's broke. Rabel's back to coaching and Ruzini's catching smoke. 10 toes down with the Eagles on the scene. Ain't no time for fakers cause your boy is bleeding green. Source is leaking stories but you know it's all cap. Coach Marcus on the mic and he's shooting all facts. Search trending topics, information moving slow. Pro fan talk, always keep you in the know. Hit the bell, that's law. Break it down from the film to the box score raw. Where the real ones bar. From the birds to the league, we gon' cover it all. Hit the bell, that's law. Break down from the film to the box score. Hands up.